everyone, welcome back. I'm Jackie, and today I'm helping you with the English reading and writing test for your U.S. naturalization interview. During the English reading and writing test, the USCIS officer will ask you to read and write up to 3 English sentences. To pass, you need to correctly read at least 1 sentence and write at least 1 sentence. These sentences are based on a specific vocabulary set provided by USCIS. In this video, I'll provide you with 50 sample reading sentences and 50 sample writing sentences that cover all of the vocabulary you need to know. By mastering all of these sentences, you will be fully prepared for this part of the interview. I'll first give you the chance to read or write the sentences yourself, and then I'll reveal the answers. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time. It's important to note that most field offices now conduct the reading and writing portion on a tablet. You will read a sentence from the tablet and write a sentence on the tablet using a stylus pen or your finger. If you have a tablet at home, I recommend practicing writing on it as it's different from writing on paper with a pen. All right, are you ready? Let's get started. Who can vote? Who can vote? Citizens can vote. Citizens can vote. When is Thanksgiving? When is Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving is in November. Thanksgiving is in November. What state has the most people? What state has the most people? California has the most people. California has the most people. Where is the White House? Where is the White House? The White House is in Washington, D.C. The White House is in Washington, D.C. How many senators does Congress have? How many senators does Congress have? Congress has 100 senators. Congress has 100 senators. Who was the second president? Who was the second president? Adams was the second president. Adams was the second president. When is Labor Day? When is Labor Day? Labor Day is in September. Labor Day is in September. What was the first capital? What was the first capital? New York City was the first capital. New York City was the first capital. Who was Abraham Lincoln? Who was Abraham Lincoln? Lincoln was the president during the Civil War. Lincoln was the president during the Civil War. What are the colors of the American flag? What are the colors of the American flag? The American flag is red, white, and blue. The American flag is red, white, and blue. How are you doing so far? Did you get them all correct? The writing sentence is usually the answer to the reading sentence. You don't have to know the answer. The officer will read it out loud for you, and you just have to write it down on the tablet. Okay, are you ready to get through the next set of sentences? Let's go. How many senators do we have? How many senators do we have? We have 100 senators. We have 100 senators. What do people want when they come to America? What do people want when they come to America? People want freedom of speech. People want freedom of speech. When is Independence Day? When is Independence Day? Independence Day is in July. Independence Day is in July. Who lives in the White House? Who lives in the White House? The president lives in the White House. The president lives in the White House. What is the capital of the United States? What is the capital of the United States? The capital of the United States is Washington, D.C. The capital of the United States is Washington, D.C. Where do senators meet? Where do senators meet? Senators meet in Congress. Senators meet in Congress. Who is George Washington? Who is George Washington? Washington is the first president. Washington is the first president. How many states does the U.S. have? How many states does the U.S. have? The United States has 50 states. The United States has 50 states. When is Flag Day? When is Flag Day? Flag Day is in June. Flag Day is in June. What country is to the north of the U.S.? What country is to the north of the U.S.? Canada is to the north of the United States. Canada is to the north of the United States. For the reading test, the sentence is not read correctly if you don't read the sentence, you skip words in the sentence, you have too many or too long of pauses, the officer can't understand you. And for those of you who need a little bit of extra help, make sure to check out the services we provide on our website. All right, let's continue our practice. Who elects Congress? Who elects Congress? The people elect Congress. The people elect Congress. What is one right citizens have? What is one right citizens have? Citizens can vote. Citizens can vote. When is President's Day? When is President's Day? President's Day is in February. President's Day is in February. What city was the first capital of the United States? What city was the first capital of the United States? New York City was the first capital of the U.S. New York City was the first capital of the U.S. Who is the father of our country? Who is the father of our country? President Washington is the father of our country. President Washington is the father of our country. What is the largest state? What is the largest state? Alaska is the largest state. Alaska is the largest state. Who lived here first? Who lived here first? American Indians lived here first. American Indians lived here first. What is one right in the Bill of Rights? What is one right in the Bill of Rights? Freedom of speech is one right. Freedom of speech is one right. Why do people come to America? Why do people come to America? People come to the United States to be free. People come to the United States to be free. Who is on the dollar bill? Who is on the dollar bill? President Washington is on the dollar bill. President Washington is on the dollar bill. Break time! For the writing test, the sentence is not written correctly if you write nothing, you miss some words in the sentence, even small ones, you write an abbreviation of a word. For example, you write NYC instead of New York City. The officer can't read what you wrote. All right, are you ready for the next round? Let's go. When is Memorial Day? When is Memorial Day? Memorial Day is in May. Memorial Day is in May. What country is to the south of the U.S.? What country is to the south of the U.S.? Mexico is to the south of the U.S. Mexico is to the south of the U.S. Where does the president live? Where does the president live? The president lives in Washington, D.C. The president lives in Washington, D.C. What was the first state? What was the first state? Delaware was the first state. Delaware was the first state. Who has the right to vote? Who has the right to vote? Citizens have the right to vote. Citizens have the right to vote. What is the name of the first president? What is the name of the first president? Washington was the first president. Washington was the first president. What do we have to pay the government? What do we have to pay the government? We have to pay taxes. We have to pay taxes. When do we vote for the president? When do we vote for the president? We vote for the president in November. We vote for the president in November. What is the largest city in America? What is the largest city in America? New York City is the largest city. New York City is the largest city. Who elects Congress? Who elects Congress? Citizens elect Congress. Citizens elect Congress. Remember, for the reading part, your accent doesn't matter. What's important is to read the words and pronounce them properly. For the writing part, some of you like to write in all capital letters. That's not a problem at all. What's important is to write clearly so they can read it. All right, we're almost done. Are you ready? Let's finish strong. What U.S. state has the most people? What U.S. state has the most people? California is the state that has the most people. California is the state that has the most people. What do we pay to the U.S. government? What do we pay to the U.S. government? We pay taxes. We pay taxes. When is Columbus Day? When is Columbus Day? Columbus Day is in October. Columbus Day is in October. What do people want in America? What do people want in America? People want to vote in America. People want to vote in America. Who was the first president? Who was the first president? Washington was the first US president. Washington was the first US president. What was one of the first states? What was one of the first states? Delaware was one of the first U.S. states. Delaware was one of the first U.S. states. What colors are in the American flag? What colors are in the American flag? Red, white, and blue are in the American flag. Red, white, and blue are in the American flag. What do citizens have to pay the government? What do citizens have to pay the government? Citizens have to pay taxes. Citizens have to pay taxes. Who lived in America first? Who lived in America first? American Indians lived in the United States first. American Indians lived in the United States first? Where does Congress meet? Where does Congress meet? Congress meets in Washington, D.C. Congress meets in Washington, D.C. All right, make sure to check out these videos to prepare you for the interview. Good luck, and I'll see you next time.